once again returning to the airwaves here on this Memorial Day, a very, very happy Memorial Day. Yes, it is. It is Monday. It is Memorial Day, at least on the calendar. And I was chatting with Ron Tallman over at the VFW last night, and he once again reminded me that the parade, the Memorial Day parade, is going to be this coming Friday morning, which is apparently the true Memorial Day, which I think is, boy, it's slipping my mind what it's called. But anyway, it is going to be Friday morning, and I want to make sure that you know that and spread the word on that. We'll be there. We'll be streaming live, and just like we did last year, and I can't wait. It's going to be a great day. Hopefully, Mother Nature's going to cooperate. She did a little bit yesterday for about 30, 45 minutes. The sun came out, and then it was right back to the clouds and the cold and even some rain. But, man, it is beautiful out there this morning. The sun is shining. It is a gorgeous day, at least here in the Granite City. And to drive in this morning and see that huge American flag flying high and proud above North Main Street here in Barrie was just awesome. Awesome. So speaking of the cold, you have probably heard me on the air in the past talking about Arctic Bliss and what they do, the ice baths. And you've probably heard me give testimony to this, not only at the Green Mountain Reggae Festival last summer, but also just recently within the last couple of weeks, it seems, probably a little bit longer than that, over at Washington County Mental Health's Wellness Wednesday on Summer Street, where Arctic Bliss showed up with this huge trailer with this portable ice bath setup and did this right on Summer Street. And myself, Heather Slayton, and a few others partook. And once again, there were new people that I was able to witness not only get in the ice bath, but also I got to witness and experience them open their eyes, not just from the shock, but open their eyes to the medicinal benefits to ice bathing. And I got to see them see the light and say, oh my God, this is something that I may need to explore a little bit further. This is something I may want to consider incorporating into my life in some way. Not necessarily every day, but it was the wow factor, and it was huge. Arjun Vandersloot is my guest this morning. He is the owner. You're the man behind Arctic Bliss. You are everything behind Arctic Bliss. Brother, welcome to Aired Out.
Thank you, JD. It's wonderful to be here. It's great to see you again. It was so nice to meet you at the Reggae Festival. That was last summer, I think,
last
right?
summer. Yeah, it was last summer.
I don't remember what month it was, but
yeah. And and Matt does a great job bringing in some, for lack of a better term, non-traditional type of vendors.
Correct.
And when I saw you, I was, first of all, I didn't know really anything about you or ice bathing. We
had never met.
We had never met.
No.
And I was like, what is this all about? And I came up to you, and I think I was watching Bessie do it.
Right. Yes.
And I'm like,
that's right.
I was intrigued.
Yeah.
Right off.
She did great as well.
She did.
She did fantastic.
She was
yeah,
great.
She was right. She went into the Zen mode and
quickly.
Yeah, quickly. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. But you got there.
I did.
You did great.
I did, man, but it was
yeah. It was fantastic.
I couldn't believe it. Listen, I was not in any way prepared to do something like this.
Right.
I wasn't anticipating any of it.
Exactly.
And when I got into that ice water, it took all of my breath away, but there was this hesitation beforehand where I said, "Oh my God, I'm not sure if I can do this."
Yeah. And that doesn't really go away. I still have that after having gone in hundreds of times. Every time I stand in front of the ice bath, I go, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Because, it's an ice bath. It's not a hot tub.
Yeah.
But then overcoming that thought and saying, all right, I'm just going to go in and I know it's going to be fantastic. And then just going in, and that overcoming that voice in your mind that says, I'm not going to do this. This is going to not be great. But then saying, all right, it's going to be fantastic and it's going to be really good for me. And just that act of overcoming that initial inside voice is already so powerful that that's alone is already worth it.
That's you just said it all right there. In my opinion, that's the key right there, because look at how many things in our lives that we dread. Whatever they may be. It could be the dread of, we got an impending surgery that's coming up. We have an impending breakup that's coming up.
There's a million things.
What's it going to be? What's it going to be like? On the other side.
Right.
What's it going to be like?
Yep. That's the thing with worry, right? You worry about things in your head, and it's like a fraction of the thing that you all worry about is actually going to come to pass.
Sure.
And it's the same here. You worry about, it's going to suck and it's going to be cold and it's going to be, and then you get in it.
Right.
And, like with you, I guided you through it with the breathing methods.
Yes.
And then after 20, 30 seconds, you literally calm down in the freezing water.
Yes.
And you go like, and you go, man, it's still cold, but you go like, I can do this. I can do hard things.
Yeah. The first time I did it, I had a smile on my face because I was.
Do we have footage of that?
We did somewhere.
Not somewhere. Okay.
I think it's on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I had a smile on my face because I was like, because I was thinking, son of a bitch, this guy's right. I wasn't in the ice the whole time going.
No.
It was literally 30 seconds.
Yep. You calm down.
You calm right down.
That's one of the reasons why it's so wonderful to do this. Why introducing people to the ice bath and seeing how they respond.
Yeah.
That moment where they go from out of breath and then listening to me, making them breathe in deep and out long and calming themselves down. And that moment where they go, that is
I know.
Really magical. It's really fantastic.
Donna wants to know, is it dangerous to be in that cold of water? And when we say that cold, we're talking about a temperature
near freezing.
Yeah, right around
near freezing.
Right around 30 degrees.
It's probably 33, 34.
All right.
It's right around it's freezing.
Is it dangerous? That's super cold water, bro.
It is.
Is it dangerous?
Super cold.
Is it dangerous?
It's dangerous if you have, let's say, if you already suffer from really high blood pressure, you shouldn't probably do it. If you have serious heart issues, you should probably not do it.
Okay.
But save those things, it is safe to do, provided you do it under the guidance of somebody who knows what they're doing. For the first time, don't go by yourself, because if you freak out in water, that can be very dangerous.
Good morning. If you're just joining us, first of all, happy Memorial Day. Arjun Vandersloot is our guest this morning.
So close.
Arjun
Vandershoot.
Oh!
That's fine.
All right. God, I got it. All right. I'll remember. Here's the thing. I want to know what about your name, because after I had met you, I had met someone who said to me, "Have you met this crazy German bastard who's down in Woodstock or White River or wherever? This guy's freaking batshit crazy." And I was like,
I take that as a compliment
Yes.
when people say that.
First of all, you're not German.
No,
You're
from Holland.
from Holland.
Dutch. Yeah, it ain't much if it ain't Dutch. That's what we always say.
Love that. I love that. So, like, you know, that was the thing is, like, if this ice bath was just sitting there,
Yeah.
there's no way in hell I would have just got in there.
No.
But you saying to me, hey, man, I'm going to be not only right with you, but I'm going to be talking you through
Yep.
every second of it.
Yep.
And to see, you know, grown men in there and they're like,
Oh, yeah.
they need to hold your hand.
Yes. Most times I hold people's hands. Literally hold their hands.
Doesn't matter who it is.
No, it doesn't matter who it is. Well, and I got a bunch of rubber duckies in the bath usually too.
Yeah.
Which, you know, also mentally they help because your eyes are looking at the duckies
Yeah.
and that's not really scary.
Right.
Right? So mentally it already sort of puts you more at ease
Right.
for the crazy thing you're going to go through.
When I first met you and everything, of course, I had followed Wim Hof,
Right.
Tell us
Another crazy Dutch
Yeah,
guy,
yeah,
crazy bearded Dutch guy.
for folks that don't know who Wim Hof is, please explain. And
So shall I explain how I got into it?
Yeah, I
No,
wanna
because
hear
that'll lead
that.
into
yes,
So I was doing obstacle course races
okay,
because at a certain age, people start doing obstacle course races to sort of prove that they still got it.
Yeah.
Right. So I was doing that. And then one Christmas, my wonderful wife, Charn, gave me the book Breath by James Nestor.
okay,
In that book, the short version of that book is that you should really breathe through your nose always, except when you're eating or talking,
okay,
because that's so much better for you. But in that book, it also mentioned Wim Hof,
yep,
who is this crazy bearded Dutch guy who's pretty famous.
yep,
And me being from Holland, you would have thought I would have heard of him as well,
yep,
which I hadn't. So then I bought his book, The Wim Hof Method. And he has a method that's part breathing, part cold exposure, part meditation, I would say, mindfulness.
okay,
And there are three separate components.
yep,
So I read his book and I thought, oh yeah, this cold exposure thing, I got to check that out. So I started to do cold showers and then I started to do ice bath. I just got a watering trough, filled it with water and ice and hopped in. And then I had friends and family come over and they hopped in and everybody liked it. And it was really, that got a lot of traction. So I thought, this is pretty cool, pun intended. But I don't want everybody to come to my house all the time.
ah,
So I thought I got to take this show on the road. And I called a friend of mine, Mike Welch, who's really great at building pizza trucks and such.
yep,
And I said, I want a trailer. It has to have a changing room, a big container of water, a big freezer to keep ice in, and some room to keep my tubs.
yep,
He said, yeah, I can do that. I'll call you back tomorrow. So he called the next day. We agreed on a price. And he said, yeah, I'll have it done in 3 weeks. And 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, I had a big trailer. And I started to go, to the green in Woodstock, for instance. And I would
Yes.
set up and I would have an ice bath. And people would walk by and look at me.
yeah,
Like, what is this crazy mofo doing?
right,
And I would talk to them about why I'm doing it, what the health benefits are, what the mental benefits are. And slowly I started to convince people to try it,
yes,
which is not an easy thing to do.
no,
I always say if I can make money off of people that say hell no,
yes,
I'd be all set. Be all set. I don't know the exact number, but 95% of people will probably never do it. So it's hard to convince people to get in a bucket of near freezing water.
but then you give them the tools,
Yeah.
not only the knowledge,
And
but
I
also
guide them through it.
yes, but also an ice bath
Yes.
that they can take home
Yeah.
and do on their own schedule.
Yeah. And it's so again, it's really hard to convince people to try it,
Yes.
but practically everyone that tries it
Yeah.
becomes hooked
Yes.
because of, it has all these health benefits which are numerous,
Yes.
but the main thing is that it instantaneously makes you feel fantastic.
Yes, it does.
Like you can conquer the entire world.
I was just having a conversation before we went hot this morning, telling you about the Berry Heritage Festival. And we already have a comment this morning that says this could be a big hit at the Berry Heritage Festival
Okay,
this
well,
summer.
we got to see if we can get a spot there at the Berry Heritage Festival
And
in July, right?
In July, the end of July. You roll this trailer in. You've got everything in there. You got a changing room. You even have eliminated every excuse.
Yes. Well, and now
I've eliminated suits.
I've eliminated another excuse because people say, "Oh, I hate the cold." So now, oh yeah, there's the trailer. Look at that.
Yeah.
Now I have my friend Mike again has converted the changing room into a sauna.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
So wait a minute.
Let's go.
So you can freeze your ass off.
And then you can warm up afterwards.
Dude, that's crazy.
Well, I feel that it's easier to convince people to get into freezing water if they know afterwards they can warm up again.
Aha. And when people say to you, "Oh, I would love to try this," but I don't have any. I don't have any shorts or a bathing suit.
I have
I don't
everything.
have any dry clothes to
That's
change
right.
into.
I have everything. They can get changed. I have shorts.
Towel.
I have towels. It's all self-sufficient.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You walked me through it when I got into the ice bath with you. You walked me through it. You explained everything that's happening to me.
Yeah.
Which I found fascinating
And comforting, I'm assuming.
and very comforting.
Right.
But I joke around all the time on the air about all of my orthopedic issues.
Right.
I've got a body that's full of arthritis
Right.
in every joint.
Yeah.
I have inflammation problems up the wazoo.
Right.
I was working out in the yard yesterday, and I wanted to tell you this. I've been waiting to tell you this on the air. Working out in the yard yesterday. Afterward, bending over the wheelbarrow, the whole thing.
Right.
Afterwards, I can feel the lactic acid
Right.
building up in my joints.
Right.
If I sit down on the couch, even 20 minutes,
Right.
getting up off that couch, you should hear me.
Creaking everywhere.
It's and Sherilyn's looking at me like, really, dude? Seriously?
The ice bath is the solution. Well, it's
Yeah.
not a fix all, but it's a fix a lot.
Without drugs.
Yeah.
You're using your natural drugs
Yep.
that you already have in your
Yep.
body, which a lot of the time are
Yep.
kind of just sitting there on reserve.
Well, I have a good story about. So we're in the Woodstock area, White River Junction. So there's one time we were having lunch in White River Junction, and Charn says, "You should get a haircut. There's a barber shop right up there. Go check that out." I said, "All right." So I went to the barber shop in White River Junction, Bouchard's barber shop, and Denise Bouchard, whom I had never met, was went to cut my hair, and we started talking. And, naturally we get to ice bath and everything. And she goes, "Well, I've always been kind of curious, but I've never done that. And I want to do a polar plunge." I said, "Well, as it happened to be, I'm going to be," and this was in December. So December 2 years ago now, or a year and a half ago. Let's call it a year and a half ago. And I said, "I'm going to be in White River Junction tomorrow with my trailer and an ice bath, so you can just come by and give it a try." So she said, "Okay." The next day I went to White River Junction. We set up, And Denise came by, and her business partner there, Sandy, and they're both in their 60s, I would say. They went in, and they loved it. A couple of days later was January 1st. We had a polar dip at Mascoma Lake.
Yeah.
They went in there, and Denise was hooked. She got a tub, put it on her porch, and it was December, January, so it got cold. The water got cold naturally.
Actually.
She started to go in every single morning, and she has arthritis in both her knees. And she said after a couple of months of going in consistently, she used to go to the hospital every 3 months to get shots for her knees, right? Cortisone shots or whatever you get for that. She said after doing ice bath regularly, she canceled her appointment. She's not doing them anymore. She says she doesn't need them anymore.
That's so amazing.
It's fantastic.
So amazing. You know, you said to me, I don't know if you remember, you said to me, JD, when you hurt something, you fall, you hurt, there's the injury, but it's the inflammation around that injury that causes the pain.
Right.
So we're all taught since whenever an ice pack.
Ice it. Yeah, exactly.
You've got to ice it. If
Ice it.
if it's a burn, if it's a sprained ankle, whatever it is, get ice on it right away, because that reduces the inflammation, which
is arthritis.
Which symptomatically reduces the pain.
Yeah.
So you get ice on it, and then you got to get the injury fixed.
Right.
Whatever, or it needs to heal.
Right. Whatever the case may be.
But the ice is what reduces the inflammation.
Exactly.
And then you said, imagine your whole body being on an ice pack. Literally every millimeter of your body being covered by 30-something degree water.
Yep. And it is and it isn't, but it's a relative simple thing to do, right? Just sit in a bucket of really, really cold water.
Yeah.
You know, actually it's a simple thing to do, but mentally it's not.
Right.
Mentally it's a hard thing to do, which is oftentimes when you ask people, right, they would rather take a pill than do something that'll make them better or feel better. Sure. And the ice bath's the same thing. It's a simple thing to do, but it's an ice bath. It's not super easy.
You said to me, and I found this to be striking. You said to me, it's actually more difficult to be in a nice, comfortable, warm shower, and then all of a sudden it changes to cold.
Well, so the cold shower, there's always the debate, because a cold shower is easier to do, right? Because you take a shower in the morning anyway, just got to turn it all the way to cold. And here in Vermont, clearly the water gets really cold when you turn it to cold.
Sure.
But like we said before, right, it's the initial shock that's the hardest part, right? And then in the ice bath, and then after 20, 30 seconds, you get past that and you calm down and you're okay. With the shower, it hits your front, you have the initial shock, then you turn around, it hits your back, you get the initial shock again. You turn around, it's initial shock again. So you get that initial shock over and over again. So a lot of people tell me that they find that hopping in an ice bath is easier than doing a cold shower.
Isn't that something else?
Yeah. But a cold shower is easier accessible.
Yeah, right.
So I also do it sometimes if I know I'm not going in the ice bath and I'm taking a shower, then I turn it to cold at the end, and it still gives you that
cold at the end and then back to the warm?
No. The best thing is ending on cold. End on cold. That's the best thing to do.
I'm going to tell you guys something right now. If you're joining us, this is Arjun van der Schoot.
Yes. You got it, JD.
From Arctic Bliss, which is out of Woodstock.
Correct.
Okay. You travel all over the place with your trailer. I'm going to show it again. You've probably seen it on the interstate.
We can go anywhere. I've been to New Jersey. We can go anywhere as long as I can drive there.
It is.
I can go there.
You said something, and you make this very well known. What happens to your body when you get into the ice bath? And it's not just this guy is different from that guy. If you have a human body,
Correct.
and you get into an ice bath,
Yep.
something profound happens chemically, physically,
Yes.
to your brain and your body. And I'm telling you, wait until you hear this. Please, you explain.
Well, when you get cold, when you get really cold, like an ice bath, your brain goes into survival mode, right?
Fight or flight?
Yeah. It goes, we're going to die. We need to stay warm. We got to do something. And there's two ways that you can stay warm. One is brown fat. Brown fat is different from white fat. White fat is, at your belly that you don't really want. White fat is energy storage, right? If we eat more than we consume, we get white fat because it's energy storage for later. Brown fat is fat that's more inside of us. It's around our organs, I think, and in the back of the neck. Brown fat gets activated when we get into the cold, and brown fat burns energy. It's an energy burner. So when we get in the cold, your brown fat gets activated and it starts burning glucose and fats from your bloodstream, which keeps you warm. The brown fat is your internal stove. When we're little, we have percentage-wise way more brown fat than when we get older. As we get older, we lose it unless you start doing ice bath or cold showers, cold exposure. Then it starts building back again. If the brown fat cannot keep up anymore and you get colder, then you start shivering and your muscles, right? If you exercise, you use your muscles and you get warm, right? Shivering is an involuntary muscle twitching to create heat. So if you're in an ice bath and you start shivering uncontrollably, then you have to get out because then you're getting too cold. But unless that is happening, which I've never had anybody that I had to take out before a couple of minutes. So it's
wow.
And that keeps you warm for a certain amount of time. What your body also does, it releases a lot of adrenaline and dopamine, like 250%, which are the feel-good chemicals. And you can't have your body not do that. When you get in an ice bath, your body automatically goes, we got to survive. It's flight or fight. We got to do this. So it dumps all the adrenaline and dopamine. And when you get out, you feel fantastic because of that increase in the dopamine and the adrenaline. And that stays with you for like 4 or 5 hours, they say. So if you do an ice bath in the morning, it really sets you up to have a great day because you're just feeling great. And it's impossible not to do that. So that's the beauty of doing ice bath events. It makes everybody feel great. It's not, a friend of mine says it always delivers. There's not, when you have a massage, you can say, that was okay. That's with the ice bath, that's not the case. It's always wow.
Yeah.
Because of that big dump of adrenaline and dopamine.
And I remember when I had my first ice bath with you at the Green Mountain Reggae Festival.
Right.
You said to me, you're gonna feel great
Yeah.
for like 4 hours.
Right.
And son of a bitch, it was 4 hours almost to the minute before, and I even looked at my watch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm starting to feel a little stiff again. And I look at my watch, and it was exactly 4 hours.
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God.
We had in White River. So in White River Junction, we set up on a sidewalk fairly often, and we try to convince passerbys to try an ice bath.
Yeah.
And we had this wonderful woman, a larger woman, and she was walking with a cane, and she went in, and that was spectacular. It was like a gospel moment, and she got out and she said her legs always hurt her,
Always, yeah.
and they weren't hurting. She
Yeah.
said it's fantastic, and I saw her like a couple of months later, and she had indeed incorporated cold exposure into her health regime.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Comment here, the best sleep that I've ever had.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. I hear that a lot.
Why is that?
So it greatly boosts your metabolism, and I think it just takes so much energy too that you just sleep really well.
Okay. I'm just
And
writing down some of
I've heard
these.
this more often. I had somebody try an ice bath who said she notoriously slept really, really bad. And she also said afterwards that she had the best night's sleep she'd had in years.
Yeah. Reducing inflammation is something, my God, we all need, man.
Yes.
It's like, look at,
Yes.
don't get me started on just the foods that we eat here in America
Right.
and all of the shit that's in it that contributes to inflammation.
Correct.
I mean, we're eating foods here in the United States that
Hey,
are.
look, Arctic Glacier, the ice company just goes by.
Oh yeah,
See that?
See that? Wow.
See how the universe works?
But, I was having a conversation with some friends yesterday about the foods that we're consuming here that are banned in Europe,
Right.
and we're walking around with a lot of inflammation.
Yeah.
You don't have to have an injury to have inflammation. All you have to do is eat a lot of the stuff that
Right.
is available to you here in America.
Correct. Yep. Yep. And all you got to do is have an ice bath every day.
Yeah, right. So do you do the ice bath every day?
Well, I wasn't doing it every day. Was probably doing it 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
They say whoever studies these things
Yeah.
say that optimal, whatever optimal means,
Yeah.
is 11 minutes per week,
Okay.
broken up in different sessions. So we usually go 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
So if you go like 4 times, 3 minutes, that should be good. But it's the same thing, right? 1 time a week is better than none at all.
Yeah.
So it's all very personal. How much access you have to it, and
What about testosterone, and what about male issues?
so
And some guy,
Male
Mark
issues.
Vandershoot is asking this.
yes, that's my son. Of course he was.
With Mark?
Of course he was asking about male issues.
Yeah.
Yes, Mark. But no, definitely. But they say that if you have an ice bath before a workout,
Yeah.
so oftentimes the general knowledge is, right, have an ice bath after workout, like after a
That's
marathon.
when your muscles are inflamed and
Right.
and you're stiff.
Testosterone-wise, for males, you should have an ice bath before a workout. So have an ice bath, then do your workout, and that is really testosterone boosting.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What about getting intimate?
In the ice bath?
No,
I've
no,
not
no,
tried
no.
that yet,
No,
but
no.
I see your point there, JD.
Having the having the ice bath before you're planning on getting intimate. Maybe
It's only one
several
way to
hours.
find out.
Maybe several hours before.
Yeah. It increases your adrenaline and dopamine, so you'll be ready.
And your what's the word I'm thinking of?
And it increases blood flow,
blood flow,
because when you get into the ice,
circulation.
Yes, your blood circulation. So when you get into the ice, your body goes in survival mode. And it goes, we got to make sure that there's enough blood for our vital organs.
Right.
So it shuts down blood circulation to your extremities, like your arms, your legs, and that
Sure.
other extremity that we males have.
Yes.
When you get, so it closes your arteries and veins. That's why you feel cold in your feet and your hands first, because it decreases blood circulation there. When you get out, your arteries and veins open up again, and that closing and that opening is sort of like exercise for your arteries and veins, and that increases overall blood circulation,
Vascular.
which is great.
Vascular.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, shrinkage definitely happens when you're in the ice bath, but when you come out and blood resumes, you're good to go.
Isn't that something? That's why we say shrinkage.
That's right.
That's what
Shrinkage is real.
I jumped into the into we were at the beach in Maine.
Right.
And I jumped into the ocean and came out, and my wife had all kinds of jokes about shrinkage.
Yeah,
but-
exactly. Yeah. But it's a good thing because it increases blood circulation at a later point when you get warm again.
Is it safe to do this every day? Should we talk to the doctor first?
You should talk to a doctor first.
Okay.
That is always the best thing to do. Because like I said, if you have serious heart issues, you should probably skip an ice bath.
Okay.
In general, it's safe to do, but I would definitely do it under the guidance of somebody who knows what they're doing for at least the first couple of times. Never do it by yourself in case something does happen, right?
Right.
You're in a body of water. So.
Right. You'll always be with someone, and I say, be with you.
Yes,
I
be
mean,
with me.
Be with you.
Arctic Bliss.
And learn this, and you're not gonna, you're gonna encourage someone, but you're not gonna put like an ungodly amount of pressure on them. You're gonna encourage them.
No,
you're gonna explain the benefits.
It's a delicate line. Encouraging people to go in because.
Right.
Everybody is hesitant. Nobody wants to do it because it's an ice bath.
The last time we were together doing an ice bath, it was snowing out.
Right.
It was a very cold day.
Yes.
We had a guy that was there. This was over on Summer Street here in Barrie.
Exactly. At the Washington Mental Health place.
Wellness
Washington
Wednesday.
County, yeah.
There was a guy that was there. There were two guys that were there that were absolutely not
correct.
planning on going in.
That's right.
Not at all.
Yeah. And they both went in.
They both went in.
And they both loved it.
But you brought them there, and you brought them over to the edge of the ice bath, and you explained the benefits.
And it's
and they,
you got to put some pressure on them.
They didn't regret it.
No, they didn't. They loved it. The one guy, I don't know what his injury was. Was it his leg? He had something.
I don't remember his name.
But he was also, Mark. That's right.
Mark.
He had some injury. I forgot what it was. But he came out of the changing room afterwards and he goes,
his
back. His back.
His back.
Yes. He goes, I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
My back feels great. It's never felt this great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at Heather. I mean, she was hesitating and felt like $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean,
she did great.
Literally feel like you're 18 years old.
But you gotta push people
a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit, because if you don't push them at all.
Right.
So I try to do it I try to push people in a somewhat comical way.
Yeah.
That they laugh, but I'm still saying, you should really do this.
Yeah.
I know it's hard, but you should do it. And it's interesting to see because I've put hundreds and hundreds of people through this.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see how different people respond.
Sure.
In general, women do better than men. A lot of women say that the breathing methods are the same as giving birth. So it's the same calming down with deep breathing. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, the really strong big guys do the worst.
That's so interesting.
Yes. And I figured out why. they see it as a conquering thing. They're going, "Oh, I'm going to conquer this. Oh, I'm strong. I'm tough." Wow. And it's the exact opposite. It's a surrendering. It's the exact opposite. Somebody who does meditation a lot will have no problem with this because it's all calming yourself down. We had a guy, again in White River Junction, we had a guy go in. He was a big guy, young guy, but, strong, big guy. He went in, got out. Went in, got out. Went in, got out. It took him 5 times of jumping in and jumping out immediately. It took him 5 times to finally calm himself down and be okay. And then he lasted a couple of minutes and he did great. But it took him 5 times. When he got out and when he got dressed again, he thanked us. And as he walked away, he said, "Man, I've been shot at in Afghanistan, but this is something else." And that's typical. It's oftentimes the big, strong guys that see it as a conquering thing that take more time to calm down.
Yeah.
And surrender to it.
You've also had people that can't get past that first 30 seconds.
That happens.
And they bail.
They bail.
It's fight or flight. It's flight.
Yeah, that happens. Not that often though. It happens, but rarely.
But
most people do really well.
There's this transformative experience.
The second, and it's beautiful to see on people's faces.
Yeah.
You see
you
it
saw
immediately.
it on mine.
Yes. You see, once they go from, because in the beginning it's
yeah, you can't catch your breath.
No, it literally takes your breath away. But then I talk to you and I tell you to breathe in deep as you can and out long. And if you just focus on your breathing, in deep, out long, do not hold your breath.
Yeah.
Then after 20, 30 seconds, you literally go like, and you see people calm down and you see the realization in their eyes like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this.
I'm okay.
I can do this. I can do hard things.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic.
So many of us, when we're gathering around the ice bath and our friend or our husband or wife or relative is getting in there and we see how much hesitation they have and what it takes them, mental toughness, to commit to doing this.
Yeah.
I'm talking opening the door to this trailer and going in and putting on a bathing suit.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, coming out and standing in front of the ice bath and the crowd of people that are there.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, there's that.
Yeah.
Number three, listening to your instructions and lifting your leg and getting your first leg in the bath.
Yeah.
And then the second leg.
Yeah. And then
These
sitting
are all
down.
these are all stages.
Yeah.
And then once you're standing in that water waist deep, your brain is saying, there's no way in hell that I can get past this. There's no way I can sit down in this.
Exactly. But you can. And you can do, and you know what another beautiful thing is about this is that once you start doing it, or even the first time when you do it, and you sit down, you calm yourself down, and you come out and you feel great, you realize that you can do things that you never thought you could do, which is really empowering. And, if you do it in the morning, and let's say afterwards you drive in traffic, somebody cuts you off, you go, whatever. I just did an ice bath. Whatever you do is fine. You can handle so much more after you start your day in freezing water.
Yeah, there's a level of reset.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But when you as a spectator, when your friend or your loved one comes out and you can see the hesitation on their face. You see what happens to their face and their eyes when they put that first leg in.
Yeah.
You see what happens to them when they sit down and they lose their breath.
Yeah.
You feel like you need to cheer them on with as much enthusiasm as possible.
Right.
But you actually encourage not to do that.
Correct.
So that there can be a sense of focus that person
Correct.
has on your voice.
Correct, because it's you know it's very duplicitous because anybody can do it, and it is relatively easy. But on the other hand, it's also really hard.
Yeah.
Right? It's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And to get through it, you really need to focus on your breathing. And you need to listen to me telling you how to breathe, and you're going to be okay. And if everybody around you is yelling and stuff, then you get distracted and you look more at Freddie or Henrietta or whatever. And then it's going to start to feel colder again. And
then
what
it's more of trying to conquer something.
Yeah. So I always ask everybody to be quiet while the person goes in. And then the second they come out, so I like to have people end with a head dunk. And then when they come up from the head dunk and come out, then everybody goes crazy and everybody is cheering. And the person that comes out is filled with dopamine and adrenaline. And then it's a real victory.
I saw your latest thing here, the Saturday Morning Commandos. What in the
Yes.
What the hell is going on here, buddy?
What? It's fantastic.
Less thread.
Yes.
More skin. Better benefits.
Better benefits. It takes you to another level if you go commando. It's fine however you go in. Right? A lot of people wear a t-shirt or that, and that's all fine because it's still freaking cold.
Yeah.
But the less you have on, the more direct contact the water has with your skin, the more intense the experience is.
What do you do afterwards when you get out of your ice bath?
I walk around a little bit.
You don't run for the hot shower?
I do not run for the hot shower.
Ooh.
No. But, well, that's also a misconception. Because when you get out of an ice bath, it doesn't really matter how cold it is outside. It can be freezing outside. If you get out of an ice bath, whatever the air is not going to feel cold. Because water conducts way more than air, right? Water draws the heat out of you way more than air can.
Yeah.
So if you get out of an ice bath, unless it's like minus 20 or 0 degrees or something, then yeah, it's going to be cold out. But unless it's that, when you get out of an ice bath, you're not going to feel cold.
Especially if you don't have a shirt on?
I don't know if that
you're drying faster?
You would dry faster without a shirt on. Yes. Yes, and moving. If you get out, moving is really good because moving will get your heart pumping.
Yeah.
And that will get your blood circulation back again, which will warm you up again.
You can feel your body warming quickly.
You can.
It's really odd.
But you have to be careful because, it's also the longer you stay in, the longer it takes for you to warm up. And when you get out, your arteries and veins open up again, right? Your blood starts pumping the blood everywhere. So the blood goes through your fingers, right? Which are cold. It cools the blood down that goes there. And then the cooler blood goes back to your heart and then warms up again and goes back again. So it takes a little bit for you to really warm up. It's not just when the blood reaches you that you're warmed up. So you should be cautious when you get out. You shouldn't really drive a trailer tractor or something the minute you come out.
Okay.
You should wait like a half an hour or so until you're really warmed up throughout.
You're doing events. You do weddings, private events, running races.
Yes.
You're going to be
corporate
at
events.
Corporate
it's great
events.
For team building. It's great because if you go through this together and you see your friends or your peers or your wedding guests go through it, it is really a very empowering and team building experience.
What about you're going to be at the Covered Bridges race
Yes.
next Sunday.
Next Sunday, yeah, June 1st, Covered Bridges Half Marathon in Woodstock. Usually there's about 2,000 plus people running that. We were there last year. We had almost 140 people go in the ice bath,
Ooh.
which was, the weather was great. It was fantastic. This year, it really is weather dependent, right?
Okay.
But we're expecting a lot of people to hop in, especially now that we also have the sauna available.
Yeah. Right.
Very important.
Sure.
Yeah, we're set up to have lots and lots of people go in. It's great for recovering after a marathon. And the great thing is, with the ice bath, you have to sort of get past the point of being uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
Runners of a marathon or a half marathon can only finish that if they know how to get past the point of being uncomfortable, right? They say you run 10% with your legs and 90% with your mind. So all these runners already have the know-how how to be okay with being uncomfortable. So it really fits them all, and they all do spectacularly well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a pond in your backyard,
We do.
and you go into that pond
I do.
in the middle of the winter.
It's all the same thing. Ice bath, frozen pond. The water is all the same thing. What makes it the interesting is, like, a frozen pond is cold, right? An ice bath is cold. It's all, the water is all just above freezing. If you go into I remember the first time I went into a stream. So you go into a stream and the water is rushing past you. That makes it feel so much colder even. Because it's, the wind chill factor. When you're in the cold, you build a tiny layer of warmth around you, which is also when you have a t-shirt on or something that helps retain the heat a little bit. But if you're in a river or a stream,
It's being swept away.
it's being swept away, so it feels really so much colder. I remember the first time I went into a stream, it was after I've done our pond for many, many times. And I'm going, this is going to be the same thing. And I went and I was going, whoa, this is cold.
There's a video of you with a guy, and looks like a real tough guy too, and you're bringing him out to the middle of this
Oh, yes.
river.
I think that was Jake. Yes.
And
Yeah.
you got him in there, and
Yeah. Yeah.
man.
That was his first time.
and he did the dunk too.
He did. So I was going to have coffee with him in Woodstock to talk about cold exposure and ice bath and stuff. And he said, well, can I try it? And I go, yeah, sure. So we just did the stream there near the coffee shop. And that was the hardest way you can be initiated, because first of all, it was cold outside.
Winter.
Yeah. The water was streaming fast. It was
Yes.
hard. We didn't have a really great spot, so we had to not only fight the cold, but also
Current.
make it so he wouldn't be swept away. So he did great though, and he loved it as well. But that was the hardest part. I wouldn't recommend that for a first timer, really.
But somebody who's not like what you do, Aryang, is you're laughing and you're bringing joy and laughter to the experience,
Right.
not hesitation and a little bit of fear, but the laughter and the positivity that you inject is comforting on so many different levels.
Right.
I'm going to be okay.
Right. That's the whole thing, right? Yeah, exactly. If I go, oh, be careful. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, that only freaks him out more.
Sure.
So humor, and again, that's why the rubber duckies, right?
Right.
They seem silly, but they really help, because your mind goes, oh, there's silly rubber duckies here. It can't be that bad, right?
Have you ever been referred to as the Wim Hof of New England?
I have been. I sometimes say, when you come to an ice bath with us, it's the the closest thing to Wim Hof you can get without actually getting Wim Hof.
Have you ever met him?
I have not.
Do you want to?
Sure. Yes, be great. I'm fairly certain I will at some point. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And he does something that's a little bit next level, where he's, is it superhuman? I don't know what it is that he's doing, but he's able to control his breathing and
Yeah.
go underwater, right?
So his method is has three components to it. One is a specific breathing method that includes basically hyperventilating for a little bit and then holding your breath for a long time and then doing that like 2 or 3 rounds, which is supposed to be really, really great for you. The other component is the ice bath. The dangerous part is that people that don't research it enough, they combine the two. So they think that the breathing method that he does is used for the ice bath, which it is absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because his breathing method you can sort of pass out with. So if you're sitting in a chair or if you're laying down on a couch or something, that is okay.
Yeah. I saw him
But
with
if
Brian Rose, and he was explaining exactly that.
Right. But if you're doing that in the water, that's very dangerous, because if you pass out in the water, and people have passed away from that. So that is one of the reasons why we only do the ice bath part of it. We do not do the breathing part, because it's very easy for people to think that that is the breathing method you should do while going in the ice bath, which it's absolutely not.
Yeah.
They should be kept completely
Totally
separate.
Yeah.
So that's why we only do the ice bath, and I guide them through with breathing, but specifically tell people not to hold their breath.
We'll see you this next Sunday at the Covered Bridges Half Marathon in Woodstock.
Correct. Yes, the finish line is in Queechee.
But where, and that's where you'll be?
Yeah, we'll be at the polo field in Queechee at the finish line of the Covered Bridges Half Marathon.
Where else can we see you in the coming weeks and months? Hopefully, we'll see you at the Barrie Heritage Festival.
The Heritage Festival, yes.
But when are you going to be in White River Junction next?
I don't know
are you
yet.
going to do any pop-up ice baths?
I do, and I oftentimes so people can follow us on Instagram at the moment at Arctic Bliss Events on Instagram, or they can follow me on Facebook, Arjan Vandershoot. It's if you see my picture, you know immediately who it
are.
is.
Yeah, there's no confusion there.
No, our website is under construction at the moment. A fantastic team at Haystack Needle is working hard on that, so that will probably be up in the next couple of weeks. And usually we on Instagram I announce where we will be with our next pop-up, but I haven't really planned any things yet. And people can always book me.
Yeah.
Right? They can contact me and they can book me for their event. Be it a bar mitzvah, a graduation, a wedding, a corporate event. Like I said, it's really great for weddings and corporate events, because it's so memorable. Once you do it,
sure,
you'll always remember this specific event. It takes great pictures, right? People always want, for their weddings, they always want things to be Instagrammable.
Sure.
Everybody going into the ice bath, like the wedding couple going into the ice bath together, is unforgettable.
And then, listen, you got some problems with your joints?
Yeah.
You're going to be on the dance floor for the rest of the damn night.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. Mental health.
Yeah.
It's great for mental health, depression, mental health. I've been to a couple of places that do great things for young adults that deal with anxiety and depression. Also great success. Many of them have incorporated cold exposure into their health routine. Yeah, it's really quite amazing what a simple thing like getting into a bucket of really cold water can do for you. And I can talk till I'm blue in the face, pun intended,
Yeah.
but you will not get it until you try it once. If you try it once, then it's literally like a light bulb going into your mind, going on in your mind, going, oh, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
And then most everybody that has tried it sees how fantastic it is and either does incorporate it into their daily, weekly, monthly routine or really wishes they did.
So many of us
Yeah.
want to be able to get off of this medication or that medication.
Yeah.
We, like you said earlier, we want to find an alternative to an injection of cortisone into our joints or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
This is your answer.
Yeah, there's a guy on Instagram that we follow. I forgot his name. Camden.
Okay.
Camden something. Maybe it's Ice Cold Camden or something. Since he was young, he's been on a plethora of mental health medications since he was 9, I think. And ever since he's been going into cold water, he documents his journey of tapering off most of those medications because of the cold exposure that he's doing, which is quite remarkable because, those mental health medications, I don't know their names, but they are heavy duty.
Yeah, they are.
So if you can lessen those or
so
even eliminate them,
it's like
spectacular.
They may provide some benefits in some areas, but then they create a whole bunch of problems in other areas.
Right, exactly. What is his name? Let me
Side effects.
Quickly look. I've been told that I can do this here on this podcast because there are no rules. No rules. It's the best podcast with no rules.
We're showing a video of this lady that is getting in the ice bath right now, and it just shows so many of us in the beginning we want to hold our breath. We want to hold our breath.
Yeah.
And
so hang on, I found it. This guy, Cold Plunge Cam, C-A-M, Cold Plunge Cam on Instagram. He has look at this. He has 360,000 followers. And he documents his, using ice bath and cold exposure to address mental health. Tapering off antidepressants for the first time in 25 years. I mean, that's
amazing.
That's pretty spectacular.
25 years of antidepressants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at this, and I'll show him on. Cool. I'll show him on the monitor.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah. I don't know him, but I see his posts all the time and how he's really explaining how much he's tapered off all these medications and stuff, and how the cold exposure is really allowing him to do that.
How many times do you hear people say to you, "Oh man, you're crazy"?
I've heard that since the minute I was born.
The C word. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, but I take that as the biggest compliment I can get. Because
wow,
being average and boring is the alternative to being crazy.
Isn't this amazing?
Right?
The wide range of SSRI withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. So it can do so many things, but again, it's a hard thing to do. You gotta say yes, I'm gonna try this, and you'll become uncomfortable for a couple of minutes, but that's okay.
And just be as committed to it as possible.
Like the Nike commercial says, just do it.
Man, it's and your slogan of just let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. And
let's go, let's
man, it's like So many of us are like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. We
Yeah.
get the bath. We fill it with ice.
Yeah.
Go. Let's go. And
Yeah.
then we're like, we start.
Yeah.
But it's natural. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Give yourself a break because it's okay to tap the brakes.
It is. It is okay. But that's why it's good to do it in a guided environment.
Yeah.
Right? Contact us, book us, and get a group of friends together.
Yeah.
And all do it together. It's a fantastic thing to do with a big group of people. You can all cheer each other on and
Sure.
Get each other over that hump of hesitation.
What's the best way? What's the easiest way for folks to reach out to you right now? Is it through social media?
Yeah, at the moment Instagram is the best way.
Okay. Is there a phone number?
There is no phone
No
number
phone.
yet.
All right, so
you can
Instagram.
just DM me on Instagram. Once the website is up and going, there'll be more ways to contact me.
All right.
So in a couple of weeks, we'll get those.
So you have a website that's under construction right now,
Correct.
and it will be up and running soon.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks, I'm guessing.
Okay. But get on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram is the best way.
Go to
Or
Arctic.
or Facebook.
Okay.
My just under my regular name, Arjan Vandershoot,
Yep.
on Facebook.
And Arctic Bliss events.
Arctic Bliss events on Instagram.
And let's
Yeah.
show your Facebook page here as well, so that people can
Okay, so they can see what it looks like.
can see that.
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Yeah, there it is, right there.
Or even LinkedIn. I think I'm on LinkedIn too.
Okay. And just discover
Yeah.
this.
Or contact you. They can contact you,
Get
and
in
you can
touch
get a
with
hold of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Because everybody knows how to contact you.
Yeah. Well, many.
Yeah.
But, man, it's like we would love to see you more here in the Granite City.
Yeah.
We'd love to see you at the Barrie Heritage Festival.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get there. That would be so fun.
If you secure that,
Yeah.
please
I'll
let
you
me
of
know
course.
right
Yeah,
away.
Yeah,
Because I'll
definitely.
be pushing that here.
Yeah.
Man,
I will.
you're such.
Are you going to be set up outside?
I'll be everywhere.
Okay, you're just going to be walking around
I'll be everywhere.
with your phone.
Yes.
Right, you're not going to have a booth or anything like that.
I don't know yet at this point.
Okay.
If I get a booth that kind of limits me a little bit to being
Yeah.
stationary, but
Right, true. Just walking
Man.
around is probably a good thing to do.
and I love it.
Yeah. That's
But I
fantastic.
want to know the second you land that. If you do, I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know
I'll
about
hop on that today or tomorrow.
it. All right,
And
brother.
I'm sure they have spaces available.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people here in the Granite
Yeah.
City, man.
right.
Listen,
Yeah, it'd be great. And July is a great. What do you know the exact date? July.
it's the 23rd through the 25th,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. So mid-ish July.
Yeah,
So the weather should be fantastic.
towards the end.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you getting on here
Yeah.
with
it's
me
a pleasure.
on a Memorial Day, on a holiday. This is really, really cool that you're here and you're doing this with me. And
My pleasure entirely. You're great. It was great to meet you.
we've been
at
talking about this
Yeah.
for the longest damn time.
forever since we met last. I think it was in August, maybe.
It was at the Reggae
the
Festival.
Reggae Festival. Yes.
Please
That was
come.
so fun.
Please come back anytime you want.
Oh, for sure.
Anytime.
For
And
sure.
I would love to do something with you outside of this studio where we can bring our cameras. We both have GoPros.
Yeah. Right.
Where I can bring a live stream
Right.
to you,
And we can do set up an ice bath right outside. We can do a 9 o'clock podcast.
I would do that.
We can set up and we can invite listeners to come by and try it.
I'd do it in a second.
It'd be fantastic.
In a second.
Yeah.
Let's try to
We'll
make
set
that
that up.
happen.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, brother.
All right.
Love
Thank you, my
pal,
friend.
man. You're such a great guy. You're such an inspiration.
Well, it takes one to know one.
You do a lot for people, and you're much appreciated, man. What you're doing for people, helping people, is extraordinary.
Thank you. It's so much fun to do, and it's so great to see the change in people. Really, when they
Yeah.
embrace it
It's
and they
it's
keep going with it.
transformative.
Yeah, it really is.
Really is.
It really is. And people say that. They say it just unprompted.
Yeah,
When I
right.
try to go, wow,
Exactly.
this is really, really life-changing.
Yeah,
Which
it really is.
fantastic there. I had a guy call me Carl. He's in his 70s, maybe? Late 60s? He saw me at a mountain bike event where we were set up in Woodstock. He hopped in, loved it, got one of our tubs. He lives in Maine, put it outside, and I talked to him the other day because he ordered another tub. And he goes, man, it's so nice that I've met you and that I'm starting to do this. My wife is doing it now. My kids are doing it now. He said it was really, really life-changing. So
See that?
that is so fantastic to hear that a chance encounter like that and just...
That's your biggest reward, I think.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
By light years.
Yes. Oh, by light years.
Yeah.
Yes. Fantastic.
You embody this. This is something you're so passionate about. You love it so much. You can see it in your eyes. It's so obvious, man.
Well,
And
it's just what, and it's so easy.
yeah,
You know, I'm not performing brain surgery, or I'm not putting anybody on the moon. I'm just putting people in a bucket of cold water.
yeah.
But even that has so much effect on people, which is fantastic.
Arjun Vandershoot from Arctic Bliss, my
Yes.
guest this morning. It has been a true gift meeting you and getting to know you, buddy. I'm
Likewise.
honored to call you my friend.
Likewise.
And we'll do something again real soon together. Thanks for coming in, brother.
You're very welcome. This was absolutely fantastic.
Thanks, buddy.